Yeah,
Of those 5 units, the county owns one of them.
and so if you see the notes on the sketch, it'll say county-owned building. That's under the same roof, but it's not.
So it's not included in this?
No.
Now, upon sale of this building, you said they weren't on the tax roll, are they gonna, upon sale?
No, they're a nonprofit. They don't pay taxes now.
And it's not really a sale.
And so over 20 years, not only did they get a free building, but they got the nonprofit, you know, free tax essentially.
If they're able to, if they're acting as a landlord.
They have a separate 501c3 that's set up to be their management company. CCP is not just here in Taylor. They're in
Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park, they're in Detroit, they're all over the place. They're actually a pretty sophisticated organization, and they provide a very, very good service, and they have a very, very good reputation. But they have it structured where they run their building as a nonprofit, and they conduct their services as if they are a nonprofit. It's about a $325,000 annual revenue.
Gus, if I could interrupt just for a second, and Councilman Brown, you asked earlier about, or made a comment about, you know, they're a nonprofit. If they were servicing just Taylor residents, or even the majority of Taylor residents, I think we could make a different argument. But the reality of it is I think Taylor residents
serve all of downriver though.
Well, they reach out to Detroit. I mean, they serve a big, their reach is big. But the Taylor number, which is what we're concerned with, is relatively small in the big scheme of things. So we looked at it as just trying to be fair. That was one of the things we considered. And so as we negotiated and navigated through this, you know, that was one of the, why we didn't take a stronger position on the 1.7 and we dropped down to something, in the middle. And then we looked at what was our investment. I think we have an obligation to at least try to recover that number.
Sure. Even the 1.7 seems low to me. Knowing that it's generating 300 grand a year, I know
There's
we
a
got
couple
a lot of offsets.
Because you gotta keep, I have to look at the maintenance, I don't know what their expenses are, but I'm assuming that they have roofs, they have HVAC, so they've got, I've owned buildings, and that's,
That's not a lot.
that's, for 5 buildings that are old and not the best, probably half of that revenue. Maintenance is probably, I'm not gonna speculate, but it's gonna cost you a significant amount of money to operate those facilities.
So after this agreement, we'll have something in place with them. Like this isn't going to happen again in another
It'll be
20
their
years.
building.
They'll own it, and we're done.
They'll continue to own it. We're just waiving our right to
To-
have the property revert back to us.
Okay.
The only thing that we would really execute is what I'm going to call, and work with Cindy to develop, is a use agreement wherein we set forth what our rights are to use the community room as a voting precinct and the parking lot for ingress egress for that, and what services we will provide in terms of auxiliary police and security for that room. Day before, or whatever it costs to set up, and the day of the elections.
Now, I got a question, basically a legal question, is it's not a purchase, but we're taking $1 million to say that we're not going to do this, to allow you guys to continue to do this. Can somebody else sue us for that because nobody else had an opportunity?
No. This is our right to have the property revert to the city of Taylor. It's called a right of reverter, and the only one that can exercise that right is the city of Taylor.
So basically, we're just waiving that right, and then they're going to continue to own it because our rate's waived, and we have no.
And they know that once that right's waived, more likely now they will put more money into the building, and they'll keep it out,
But back to the question of should we charge anything or not, I think a taxpayer should be able to say, well, what were you willing to waive that right of reversion for? If it was worth $1 million and you did it for nothing, is that a fair use of what our taxpayer dollars? Should it be $2 million? I think that's the question that we're asking, and it sounds like we tried to evaluate that dollar amount.
Well, I don't think we could even do that. We couldn't do it we'd have to do it for fair market value.
Well,
Because I think there's a state law on that, right?
unless there was an agreement. Remember, they came to us and said there's this dollar buyout agreement, which is not uncommon. Other cities have done similar deals. So we said, well, we're a little disappointed to hear that, but we couldn't locate it, so we basically turned it on them and said, if this agreement exists, we'll honor it, if it's obviously an agreement, if it was approved the right way, but bring it to us, and they couldn't produce it.
What happens to the money, the fact that CDBG money was used, does this go back to, end up in our general fund? Does it go
Because of the
back-
transaction, I believe it's general fund, Gus, I know that, we'll need to confirm some of the
We
things.
had that discussion this morning with Jason, we're not sure, this was like, what, 20 years ago, so I'm not sure what the regs were then.
And it wasn't a loan either.
No.
It wasn't set up as a loan, so we believe at this point that it would go to general fund,
Well, there's our $1 million.
fund balance.
Plus, but, Mr. Reserva, I understand your comments, and we've vetted those significantly. It's just a matter of, do you want to speculate in the real estate market with that type of class?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that we want to be an owner, I'm just saying that on behalf of our taxpayers, that we get a fair price for what we're giving up a right to own, and let's make sure we're getting a good thing for our buck, recognizing that they're a nonprofit serving the community, but I think we should still, if it's worth $2 million, we shouldn't accept $1 million.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gus.
Okay, under Mayor Communications, we're going to have 4, well, actually, 6 people that will be either reappointed or appointed to some commissions. You have their resumes. Yeah, and then, the last one, the reappointment of Tim Fairmouth, that's going to be deleted. It is deleted.
It is?
Yes. He has chosen not to
Be reappointed?
read.
And I did speak to him, and he did confirm that.
Okay.
No, he said that when he accepted it, he wanted to just be appointed for one term, same thing with the police and fire pension apparently, so he said, I think that expires in November. He said that it was always one term, so.
And then, we have 2 items that will be open business. The first one being, one from Mr. Markey, and, it turns out that this is somewhat of an urgency because the deal might fall apart if we don't clear this deed in time. OB1. Kenobi. OB1 Kenobi. Did you want to explain that a little bit to us, Jerry?
Certainly, Madam Chair. About a week ago, or a little bit shorter, I got a call from a title company, Azure Title in Monroe. And they were working on a sale of a property on, and when they did their due diligence, they discovered a 2008 quitclaim deed from the DNR to the city of Taylor. There were 44 properties were transferred by the DNR to the city of Taylor in 2008. From what I can tell, the state of Michigan was cleaning up a lot of old transfers of property, and they lumped them all into the 2008 year. When I did research, I could not find any ownership ever claimed by the city of Taylor, even prior to 2008. It was always owned by a third-party individual. So the title company called my office and said, can you help clear out, clear this cloud on the title so we can sell this property? And so I did the research, and it appears that the city of Taylor does not have interest. They're working on closing this property on Wednesday of this week.
Like the day after tomorrow?
Yes, the day after tomorrow. I said, well, I'm not sure if I can get it through, but I'll bring it to city council, and which is now in front of you currently. Just as a brief comment, of the other 44 my quick research, the city has never had any interest in those either, and they've been owned by private parties well before 2008. So once I have those all identified and isolated, I'll bring up a separate item to city council for review.